shy.
Oh, what? Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy.
Astronomer CEO Andy Byron has resigned. He's yet to comment on the incident, as is his colleague Kristen Cabot.
It began as a night of music, unity, and joy. Thousands of fans gathered at a sold-out Coldplay concert in Boston. Chris Martin's voice soared through the stadium as colored lights danced across the sky. But amidst all that celebration, something else happened. Something no one could have anticipated. A quiet moment turned into a public explosion, and lives were changed forever. And at the center of it all were two people who shouldn't have been caught in that moment together. Andy Byron, the celebrated CEO of a $1.3 billion tech company, and Kristen Cabot, the human resources director of that very company, were captured by the stadium's kiss cam, locked in what appeared to be an affectionate embrace.
Yeah. Oh, look at these two. All right.
It was quick, a blink and you miss it kind of moment. But with tens of thousands of spectators, phones everywhere, and live streams broadcasting around the world, the moment became unforgettable and viral. In that short, unexpected clip, Byron and Cabot weren't just co-workers. They were something else. Hands clasped, eyes locked, bodies turned inward with the intimacy of two people lost in their own world. The crowd reacted instantly. Some cheered, others gasped, and when the kiss cam landed on them, Andy quickly bowed his head, clearly recognizing the camera. Kristen turned away, covering her face in a failed attempt at discretion, but the world had already seen enough.
There's more reaction to the story everyone's talking about. The CEO caught on kiss cam.
Chris Martin, trying to play it off, chuckled and dropped a light-hearted line. "Oh, look at these two." The audience laughed, but in that laughter something cracked open. Within minutes, the internet was on fire. Clips of the kiss cam moment flooded TikTok. On X, formerly known as Twitter, hashtags trended within hours: Coldplay Gate, Kiss Cam Scandal, Byron and Cabot. Reddit threads exploded with frame-by-frame analysis. YouTube creators reacted in real time, turning the scene into content. Even t-shirts were made with the stills. It was no longer just a CEO at a concert. It was a scandal, a digital wildfire. And the world wanted answers. Who were they? Why were they together? Was it innocent? Or had a very public affair just been exposed? The deeper people looked, the worse it got. Andy Byron wasn't just any executive. He was the CEO of Astronomer, a rising titan in the tech world, a pioneer in data ops and AI innovation. The media had dubbed him a genius, a visionary, the kind of leader who transformed lines of code into billion-dollar dreams. Kristen Cabot wasn't new either, a seasoned leader in HR, known for championing ethical culture, employee wellness, and workplace integrity. But now, that same HR leader was on the stadium screen, entangled with the very man she was supposed to hold accountable.
If you're gonna have an affair, why would you bring her to a concert in public where everybody can see you? What if you even ran into someone you knew? Who cares about the Jumbotron? What if you ran into someone you knew? Huh?
Forget the Epstein files. I want to see the text messages of that astronomer CEO that got caught cheating at the Coldplay concert.
The backlash was immediate and unforgiving. Memes exploded. Comments spiraled. And while the internet laughed and speculated, one woman remained silent. Megan Kerrigan, Andy Byron's wife. At first, there was nothing. No public statements, no posts, just quiet. But soon, eagle-eyed users noticed something. Megan had removed Byron from her Facebook name. Then her profile disappeared entirely. Instagram, gone. It wasn't loud, it wasn't dramatic, it was quiet, controlled, and somehow that silence hit harder than any press conference. Support poured in. "We stand with Megan." She handled it with class. No words needed. One tweet read, "Call your lawyer, grab your designer bag, and walk away like a queen." It racked up over 100,000 likes. While Megan stayed silent, astronomer was forced to act. Their homepage froze. No updates. Their LinkedIn went dark. Andy Byron's profile deleted.
Oh my God. Astronomer, the data operations technology company, is reportedly worth $1.2 and $1.3 billion. He has an estimated net worth between 20 and 70 million.
No one from the company spoke up. Not publicly, not immediately. But the silence said everything. The backlash kept growing. Former employees of Astronomer began to share their experiences. On platforms like Reddit and Blind, anonymous users posted stories that painted a much darker picture. Some described Byron as obsessive, manipulative, and controlling. "He micromanaged every detail," wrote one. "He made us rehearse presentations over and over for days. Now he's hiding behind the stadium seats with HR." Others hinted that the affair wasn't the only issue, that there were whispers long before Coldplay, that this was just the first time he got caught in 4K, and then came the statement. On July 17, 2025, a post surfaced from Andy Byron himself. It wasn't a parody, it wasn't a satire, it was official. In his apology, Andy acknowledged the disappointment his actions had caused. He apologized to his wife, his family, and the Astronomer team. He admitted it was a deeply personal mistake played out on a very public stage. He said, "This is not who I want to be or how I want to represent the company I helped build." He continued, "I'm taking time to reflect, to take accountability, and to figure out the next steps, personally and professionally. I ask for privacy as I navigate that process." But the part that sparked the most debate was this: "I also want to express how troubling it is that what should have been a private moment became public without my consent. I hope we can all think more deeply about the impact of turning someone else's life into a spectacle." Some sympathized. Many didn't. They pointed out the irony. He was the CEO of a data company, a man whose entire career revolved around capturing, analyzing, and using digital information.
I'm sure I'm not the only guy who has a work wife or a work side piece, whatever you want to call it. So I don't know why everyone is acting like I'm the only guy that's doing this sort of thing.
And now he was asking for privacy. The moment didn't just end his marriage, it shook the foundations of his company. Days later, Astronomer finally broke their silence. In an official statement shared across their social platforms, the company made it clear Andy Byron had resigned. The board of directors had accepted. Pete DeJoy, co-founder and chief product officer, would step in as interim CEO. Their message was simple, direct, and undeniably cold. "Our leaders are expected to set the standard in both conduct and accountability, and recently that standard was not met." The statement closed by reminding the public that Astronomer is committed to helping their clients solve the toughest data and AI problems, implying, without directly saying it, that the scandal was behind them. But was it? For many in the tech world, this wasn't just about one man's downfall. It was a warning shot across the entire industry. Because this wasn't about a leaked email, or insider information, or shady business deals. It was one camera, one screen, one accidental moment. A hug, a look, a kiss, or almost a kiss, that triggered a domino effect. It was a visual scandal that unraveled in real time. And maybe that's why it hit so hard. Because in a world where tech companies spend millions on PR, on image control, and brand curation, none of it mattered. The only thing that mattered was a camera, a crowd, and 60,000 people watching you live. It was a masterclass in how fast reputation can crumble, in how leadership built over years can dissolve in 30 seconds, in how silence from a wife can become louder than any CEO's apology. And even now, people are still asking questions. Why were they seated together? Was it accidental? Or had the affair already been happening behind the scenes? No one knows for sure. Kristen Cabot has remained completely silent. No statements, no apologies. Her social media locked down, as if bracing for the storm. Insiders say the Astronomer Board has launched an internal investigation. HR policies are under review. Consultants are being called in. Some employees worry about the future, others feel vindicated. And the memes haven't stopped. Late-night hosts joke about it. TikTok is filled with reenactments. A Coldplay concert has become the most unexpected tech whistleblower of the year. But maybe the most tragic part of all this is how familiar it feels. A CEO, a subordinate, a betrayal. A woman who finds out the truth not in a conversation, but on a jumbotron. It's the kind of heartbreak that belongs in a movie, but unfolded live, in front of a stadium full of strangers. Now, Astronomer tries to recover. They're back to business. But the public isn't so quick to forget. The scandal might fade, but the story will live on. In the end, Megan Kerrigan, who never said a word, became the only voice people wanted to hear. She didn't need a statement. She didn't need a comeback. Her absence said everything. She has become a symbol of strength, of grace, of knowing when to walk away with your head high. And for Andy Byron, the man who once claimed he'd be the Jeff Bezos of data, his empire didn't fall from a boardroom. It fell from a stadium screen. Thank you for watching. If this story gripped you like it did the internet, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Because in a world where reality moves faster than fiction, you never know where the next story might unfold.